Welcome to Framework Fortune and welcome back Framework Fortune community. I'm your host Ben and it's time for The Last Rip, your Monday through Friday episode where we take a look at top gainers on the day, recap any trades I took, and look for trades that could possibly have big potential for tomorrow. So Hal will be joining me on The Last Rip episodes throughout the week, and also let me know if you enjoyed Hal on the live stream trading this morning, being on the audio and me and him communicating back and forth about trades that we're taking. So time is our most valuable asset. Let's not waste any more of it and dive right in. The SPY climbing up today. It got a little held up during about 9:30 to 11, and then it continued to push up the rest of the day, making a new high. And you can see it actually pushed more in after hours to 441.16. We are a little ways off of the 10-day moving average. So we are bullish. We more than likely will probably see the SPY push to 445, 450 before we get another one of these pullbacks. But after 5 green days in a row, I would expect somewhat of a pullback tomorrow down to the 10, maybe back down to 435. So this morning there was some action during the day, but looking back now at the percent gain, as you can see, it wasn't as hot as a day as we've been having. Btbt is the top gainer, and Btbt was one I was alerting because they did have PR. They had a expanded Bitcoin mining deal, so with Bitcoin shooting up like it did yesterday, I expected crypto stocks to get some type of pop up. I originally got in here at 520 with 50 shares, held it all the way up to here. I actually added a few more there looking for that $6 break, and it couldn't break $6, so it came back down, and I got stopped out on this candle here. I wasn't willing to risk much more than that, and then you see right after it started pushing back up, and when it did, I did hop in. I didn't have a lot of funds left, but I grabbed 15 shares of it. So this was a loss of about $20, but now with that 15 share position and the big rip that this made, it got all the way up to 941 before closing, which was right almost at that 200-day moving average at 960, close to that $10. So having a pullback in after hours, but holding 775 so far as support. Now I'm going to continue to hold this 50 shares because Bitcoin looks like it may try to test 40K here in the next day or two. And if it does, then all these crypto stocks are going to get real hot. But seeing this one pop up today when it was really, really low, I mean, this was all the way down to $4. Just needs to break over the 200 tomorrow, and this could be back bullish and starting to make some pretty nice moves. So we'll see what happens, but if it continues to look pretty good tomorrow, I may even add more and continue swinging this. So next we had NCTY. Looks like there wasn't any news, just kind of a random spike there at market open, sideways consolidation before it got a cross over the 10 over the purple and a big run towards midday, but running right into this 50-day moving average at $15. I don't think this is one that's worth watching because it has quite a bit of resistance ahead of it. FLGC looks like they executed international cannabis supply agreement a little later in the day maybe, but wasn't doing anything, and then right before market close it shot from 314 all the way to 480. It did close above the 200-day moving average, and this is 42 million in shares. Yeah, it is above the 200, so we'll keep it on watch, but I don't know if it'll continue or not. It's not that exciting, but it is a recent IPO, and not too long ago we were seeing recent IPOs get some big moves. So BITF is another Bitcoin stock getting a little sympathy run off of Bitcoin's run. It is a little higher in float than I would like, about 145 million, but it does look like this was a recent IPO as well. And I'm going to add it to my list because I've never seen this crypto stock. SGRP, this is another one where I made some trades on it, and this should have been a win, just being stupid and not locking in any profit, but you can see I waited for this move to happen and then got in at the pullback here, As soon as it started bouncing up to 315 area, got in at 313, 100 shares, and then it popped all the way up to 386, and I did not lock anything out. As soon as it started cracking down below here, I had to get out, and that ended up being a loss. And then I was looking for it to break this downtrend right here, and it couldn't break, so I had to take a loss on that. Ended up being $38 of a loss on SGRP, which is really stupid because it should have been a win of at least, $50. So I kicked myself for not locking that one in. NEOV was the biggest loss on the day. I was looking for that hype to continue. It held up most of its gains in pre-market, but just dumping at market open, and I just got ate up on this one. I even added right there on this indecision candle, looking for it to try to rebound, but you see that bear candle, engulfing bear candle, showing that downward momentum. So I had to get out, and that was for a $55 loss. Pretty bad trade. Shouldn't have took that anyway. SPRT. Now, this was another trade I took, and this one I alerted last night, and maybe the night before too, on frameworkfortune.com in my watch list. SPRT was in this big inverse head and shoulders pattern on the daily, and break over 6. I was predicting it could run up to 8, and that is exactly what happened. It just happened all in pre-market. So anybody who caught this in pre-market, breaking $6, I think Brian McLaury, you caught this at $6. Don't know where you locked out at, but hopefully you locked out some profits up there in that $8 area. But I was looking forward to try to continue, and got in there at $7.32. And then it started coming back down. Had to get out. Crack of $7, $20 loss there. So this one I was a little less stupid on. I actually cut my losses quick enough for it not to be that big of a loss. So Neuro had a big bounce off of 20 all the way up to 24 in pre-market. Came out, sold all the way off down to this 200-day moving average. So I looked for that bounce and got in a little high on it. Up at 23.06, looking for it to break over 24. It couldn't, got rejected, and then you can see there I had to get out on this down push because this was a very fast drop. Took a small $25 loss there. So all in all, I took some pretty decent losses, adding up to probably about 150 until I took the Btbt swing trade. So that actually made up for the loss at the beginning of Btbt this morning, and making up a little bit of some of the other losses. But we'll see if it continues to run, and maybe I can get some of those losses back just off of this one swing trade. I'm coming in tomorrow to play a lot more defensive than I was today. Now that we see we're in a little choppy market this week. There was a couple of pump and dumps today, like Easy Go or Easy Go, which we were making fun of the name. And it shot straight up and then shot straight back down. We saw some multiple plays. So these are ones that I'm not keeping this on watch. There's no reason. Didn't hold its gains below all EMAs on the daily chart. I think SPRT is definitely one to still keep on watch. TYME giving back most of its gains, getting rejected at 2. It is above the 50-day, but that's a pretty big drop. A lot of gains given back, so I don't think it's worth keeping on watch, and it is a higher flow too, so no. XBIO did get a little action this morning. This is one I think Hal and One Life, a couple other traders traded, getting some quick scalps off of this thing, but eventually cracking this trend line, selling off the rest of the day. We've got some pretty ugly candles here on the daily chart, but the 10 did just cross over all the other EMAs. So XBIO is still worth keeping on watch as a possible ripper. And then I would say keep all of the crypto stocks on watch. Btbt for sure, Mara, Riot. As you can see, most of these crypto stocks are up right now, and they were in some lower areas than they had been previous, so they got some room to get back up. So pretty much Btbt is going to be my main watch tomorrow unless something else pops up in pre-market. So that's it for today's episode of The Last Rip. We'll be back tomorrow morning for some more live stream day trading, and be on the lookout for new content coming out this week. Appreciate everybody joining me as always. Stay safe out there. Until next time.